a barrel roll.
Welcome to the Now. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Avery Monsen.
And just in time for Comic-Con, Activision gave gamers a surprise announcement over the weekend that Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, the Diablo-esque beat-em-up starring your favorite Marvel heroes, would be getting remastered releases this week.
The games dropped on PS4 and Steam yesterday, and if early reviews are any indication, they started work on the PC port at about the same time that they announced it.
Sick burn. Busted PC ports, really not breaking news at this point, but so far the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games are less of a broken game and more of a total dumpster fire based on player feedback.
Although I would play a game about a dumpster fire.
I would too. Why don't we have Dumpster Fire Simulator yet?
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, it'll be on early access tomorrow.
Throw in a tire. Both titles quickly tallied up a number of bad reviews, with Ultimate Alliance 1 sitting at a mostly negative rating on Steam, and Ultimate Alliance 2 being a straight-up negative.
Wow, no mostly about it, just all the way negative.
Ooh.
The problems listed in the reviews read like an Avengers-worthy team-up of all the shittiest things that could go wrong with your PC port, ranging from awful controller support, meaning none at all, horrible fixed button mapping, audio issues, and more.
If you're wondering how bad it is, one reviewer on Steam said, "The most impudent release in my lifetime. Even Arkham Knight was less messed up."
Some gamers have also said that the very first press A button prompt doesn't even work to make it past one of the first screens of the game, leaving many gamers wondering if the game was QA'd on PC at all.
Wait a second, you mean Activision tried to make a quick buck with an overpriced remaster? They would never do that.
They never have before. To be fair, this wasn't actually developed by Activision, but it was outsourced to developer Zoe Mode, whose last Steam release was the game Chime back in 2010, so, maybe they're just out of practice.
Zoe Mode! Chief among the seemingly infinite gauntlet of complaints is that the first game doesn't include any of the DLC, which, considering the price point of $40 for a 10-year-old game, seems like a pretty big problem.
Yeah, this is most likely due to a licensing snafu of some kind, seeing as how the second game does include all the previously released DLC. Licensing contracts have got to be super complicated. Remember that time that they just removed all of the Deadpool games from Steam? They came out less than a year earlier.
Who could forget?
It's crazy. Still, it seems like they could have at least lowered the price, or maybe more clearly communicated what was missing from the game on the Steam page if they were going to do that.
Just tell us what's up. Just tell us.
Just tell us what you're not going to give us.
Without the DLC, the first game doesn't include the likes of Cyclops, Hawkeye, Hulk, Nightcrawler, Doctor Doom, Magneto, Sabretooth, and Venom. Some of those dudes are kind of a big deal.
Who's Magneto?
I
He's
don't
a dude,
know.
right?
Who cares? Just leave him in, take him out, who cares?
Put him on the fridge. After the missing DLC, the next major issue would have to be the game's controls. The keyboard mapping is completely fixed, which is annoying, but something that can be worked around, except that the keyboard controls don't make any apparent sense at all.
Right now, it sounds like the game is mapped more like an MMO or a MOBA, where you move by clicking instead of WASD, and powers are mapped to the number keys. Again, fine for some people, but most would obviously prefer to configure those how they'd like.
On top of that, players are also reporting an input lag with the game's keyboard controls. So even if you do like how the controls are set up, you're still kind of screwed.
Now, if you're thinking, no shit, it's a console port, it's made to be played with a controller, well, normally you'd be right, but playing with a controller sounds even worse than playing with a keyboard and mouse. Which,
given the complaints about keyboard and mouse, is impressive. In fact, many players are saying that their controllers aren't working at all, whether they tried to do it with the Xbox One or 360 controller, wireless or otherwise.
One reviewer of many writes, "Useless, awful, terrible controls. What were they thinking? The keyboard controls make no sense, and you can't even use a controller because the game doesn't know the difference between A and X, start, and R3.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
There are also reports of bizarre resolution issues and audio problems. The audio problems are mostly related to the mix, but some have said it cracks in and out enough to give them actual headaches.
Oh man. About the audio, one gamer said, "I didn't even bother replaying the game, but man, the sound problem needs to be addressed because it's really loud, garbled, the voices are drowned out, and have a little bit of echo." Some people have said that about me. Garbled and loud.
Naturally, most of the reviews about Avery end with players stating that they'll be quickly asking for a Steam refund. So you rushed your port out to make quick money, but unfortunately, so bad you're not gonna get the money because they're all gonna take it back. So sorry, bad call, Activision.
Yeah. What makes these issues even more baffling, beyond the fact that we're dealing with games that are 10 and 7 years old, is that Marvel Ultimate Alliance already had a PC release. The first game had a score of 82 on Metacritic, so by all accounts, it wasn't completely broken like this version.
This is almost an accomplishment. Like, take something that works, break it completely, and charge $40 for it. In addition to that, there's also a free-to-play alternative in Marvel Heroes that basically offers the same type of gameplay as the Ultimate Alliance games, but, you know, without being totally broken and the price tags, because it's free. Well, free to play.
Yeah. Which brings us to the price of these two games. Fans were already a little wary of what Activision was asking for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. Each game is priced about $40 a piece, with the bundle being available for $60.
Yeah, we're used to seeing remasters of last-gen games for maybe $40 or less, but asking that much for a 10-year-old game, well, 10-year-old games in the multiple that haven't even had much of an upgrade and don't have DLC in some cases, and are apparently kind of broken, a little bit of a stretch.
These guys are tripping, as the kids say.
They dropped some acid and then released the game.
They're tripping. Problematic PC ports are nothing new for the Master Race in general, but Activision has had their Wolverines share of bad PC efforts in the past. Prototype 1 and 2, the second in particular, were both plagued by performance issues when they first launched.
Yeah, part of that had to do with the developer Radical Entertainment shutting down, so Activision wasn't terribly interested in supporting that one when it first released.
Not so radical.
No, less radical.
Not that radical. Unfortunately, publishers only half-assing their PC ports is hardly breaking news at this point. We all remember the fiasco that was Arkham Knight when that was released, then unreleased, then re-released again on PC.
That's my favorite one. The launch of Marvel Ultimate Alliance seems to rank up there, though, with some of the all-time greats of terrible launches, along with other infamous entries like Saints Row 2, Bully, Watch Dogs, and Enslaved.
And Dumpster Fire the game. Remember how terrible
Simulator.
that was? Guys, is this really so hard? Just release a working game, please.
Basic QA. Sadly, many developers tend to use launches for the PC games as kind of testing grounds to see if there's enough interest to justify the investment for ongoing support.
So the trick is, don't spend your money when ports are bad, and maybe that'll keep them from releasing more bad ports.
Well, that's the hope anyway. What do you guys think of Marvel Ultimate Alliance's PC launch? Let us know in the comments.
For future PC fiascos, like this video and subscribe to The Know.
Do you recognize Avery?
I mean, you won't now, but soon
You will.
You will.
And then you're gonna go back and then you'll watch this video and you'll be like, holy shit,
what?
it's
That
Avery
guy?
from Crunch Time.
I'm on
oh
Crunch Time.
Oh my god.
There's gonna be so many comments that will say, who is this guy?
No.
And those people did not make it to the end of the video. That's how we know.
Right, exactly. This is our test for who made it all the way through the video before commenting.
If you made it all the way through the video, comment Fandango.